The journey for me, there was some nervousness. I was a bit tentative about kind of exposing what our plans are, competitors potentially kind of tapping in, having a bit of a look. But I was completely overwhelmed by the response and wasn't prepared for it. So I had customers who've been customers for years just kind of come on board and put in and just say we 100% believe in the brand. And I can tell you, coming out of the challenges of COVID, just to have that kind of pat on the back was just, it's so empowering. For us, direct-to-consumer channel, e-commerce, wasn't a big percentage of our business, but as soon as COVID hit, we just thought, well, how can we support kids and families in the home? And so we started selling like these bundles of nutritional products just to support parents, and found that our sales grew phenomenally.
Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of the Make It Happen show. Today we're joined by Monica Meldrum from Whole Kids. Whole Kids does organic food for children. They're really trying to improve the way that our kids eat and approach food. So they've been around for a number of years and they've had a lot of great success. In fact, in 2018, they were the Organic Business of the Year. But recently, Monica's seen that there's so much more they can do. So they're doing an equity crowdfunding campaign at the moment to raise between $500,000 and $2 million. They're about halfway through and they're going really well. So in this episode, we talk about equity crowdfunding. How does it work? What's the journey that Whole Kids has gone along? What can we learn from that? Really great conversation, lots of great lessons. If you're interested in raising capital, this is just such an amazing episode. Let's get into it. Today we're joined by Monica Meldrum. Monica, how are you doing?
I'm great, Tim. Thank you.
Excellent. You're happy. You do have a big smile on your face, and I know why. We're going to get into that. But before we do, one of the great accolades that you guys have received lately is you were one of Westpac's top 20 businesses of tomorrow. So how did you make that happen?
Well, we actually were nominated as part of their campaign, and so there were thousands of applications. We were then narrowed to the 200 and then to the top 50. And at that point, Westpac had Deloitte come in and spend a couple of hours with us, just working through our vision for the business, what we do. And from that, they awarded, 20 of the top businesses and took us to the States on this kind of amazing travel tour to meet the founder of LinkedIn. We went to Facebook, we went to Louis Vuitton. It was the most incredible kind of intensive over a 3-week period, and finished up at South by Southwest. So it was such an awesome experience. And as a result of that, got to meet some really amazing entrepreneurs. I had this one moment where we met, the then CEO of Westpac, who basically, it was kind of a pinch yourself moment. We were invited to a dinner that was in the vault in Sydney, the old banking vault. And he stood up and he said, there were these two guys, they started a business. They came to Westpac. All they wanted to do was light up the streets of Sydney. And he said those two guys are no longer alive, but they had this vision and their little business was called AGL, and they're now lighting homes of like every Australian. And he said, I honestly believe you are all here because you will be the businesses of tomorrow. And I was just like, oh my God, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what is a business of tomorrow, and then how does Whole Kids fit into that?
I think there was a really big focus on sustainability, climate change, solving issues, current issues, impact. For us, being a B corporation was a really big part of that. So not only looking for a return for shareholders, but also this whole notion of contributing to every stakeholder in our business, and in a way that was ethical, sustainable. I think gender played a role, pay and how we use our funding. So, really creating change and solutions that will benefit the world.
Yeah, well, so on that, what is the change that you want to make in the world? What are you guys striving for?
Well, we want to help mums and dads create healthy, happy lives for their children. That's our purpose at Whole Kids. It says nothing about the food. I mean, without a doubt, the products we make are some of the most nutritious on the market. They're sustainable. They're all certified organic. But alongside that is really the impact we make in the world. So it's about how we improve social equity for children, how we change the dial on equality for girls, and We have an amazing partnership with Plan International, where we've just delivered 500,000 breakfasts to children in Cambodia, and we support local business through Food Bank. We're rolling out programs to children as well. So yeah, it's kind of all encompassing.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a very well-deserved accolade. Something else that I haven't told you actually is also, I know for a fact personally that your food tastes great. As the father of a young boy, we've had it in the cupboard, and I've got to admit I've stolen some of his Whole Kids. I think I've had like the puffs that are shaped like dinosaurs. Those are my particular favourite. Unfortunately, they're his favourite as well, but that's all right. You know, I win. I'm the dad. So now, talking about the future and talking about tomorrow, you guys are actually getting yourselves all set up for the future of Whole Kids. You're actually right in the middle right now of a crowdfunding equity raise, and you're going fantastically well. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I guess I did a lot of reflecting out of Westpac. There were a lot of people, the whole thing program is about how you scale your business. And we saw scaling like some of the biggest corporations in the world. And I traveled with a group of people who had been involved in sourcing external funding. And so it kind of opened my view to how much more impact we could create if we moved beyond being like a small family business to getting the right amount of working capital on board and expertise to really start to scale the business and make Whole Kids a force for health throughout the world. So we looked at, actually at the beginning of the year, we had an IM together. We met with various institutional investors, but COVID hit and none of it really felt right to me. Like I was kind of dipping my toe in the water, didn't really have an established network I could rely on. And then my dad, who was lying awake one night, called me the next morning and said, "Have you heard of crowdfunding? I think it'd really suit your business." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's my 82-year-old father. Like, no, it's actually equity crowdfunding is taking off in the UK. It's a way of, really getting people behind your brand, and you're so much about community. I think you should give it a shot. So we had a look at it. We spoke to the guys from Virtual, and then we were like, this absolutely fits with our whole notion of a community-based business, having our customers get behind us. So there's a mix of both retail and wholesale investors that can get behind, support the brand. And, we really honestly believe that people should be able to invest in brands they love. And, and we've had so much support for our business. We just want to give back. So, yes.
That's so cool, because crowdfunding as a concept has been around for a while, but for a long time it was the rewards-based model. As in, like, if you were launching a new product range or doing something new, you would offer, for people to basically pre-order what you were going to be developing and launching. And then the idea of equity crowdfunding, as in like people actually taking a slice of the business and investing in that, I think it's only really been the last 2 or 3 years it's been taking off here in Australia. That's so fantastic. Your dad was the one that told you about it. Why don't you run us through, like, how does it work? What's the journey that you guys have been on? Because I think it's such an interesting story.
Yeah, I think we're one of the more established businesses on the platform. So one of the big things for us was, we have demonstrated revenue and getting, I guess for us, it was about putting together, it's almost like a mini public listing is, we had to get together an offer document and a constitution and put all of those things in place. And so consider things like our growth trajectory, consider things like how we value the business, and there are a lot of conversations that went into that to basically set us up. And then we went through an expression of interest period where you basically just put it out there, invite people to have a look and just see what the response is like and start having some conversations around, really how we're pitching it, the offer. It's an opportunity to really refine what we're putting out to market. So we went through an expression of interest phase and had a massive kind of take up there, and then switched it into private offer mode where people who have expressed an interest and come on board early, they have an opportunity to get on board, but there's a whole series of rewards that go with that as well, like delayed payment terms and just things we offer for their investment.
It's so clever, just the whole process. So actually, let's talk about expression of interest first of all. So you mentioned earlier that tap into a network was important. That's something you wanted to do, and you guys had a great response to your expression of interest round. Like, how did you get it out there? How did people even find out of the campaign in order to express their interest? What's the process around that?
We went out to our customers and our own business network, and we also kind of put out notice through social media, I guess, just saying this is what we're thinking of as a business. If you're interested, let us know. So, but we always believe that, it's pretty powerful to be able, as a product-based business, to be able to go to our customers and say, hey, look, we've got a crowd behind us. So, we just wanted to really get a sense of what support there was. And I think the journey for me, there was some nervousness. I was a bit tentative about kind of exposing what our plans are, competitors potentially kind of tapping in, having a bit of a look. But I was completely overwhelmed by the response and wasn't prepared for it. So I had customers who've been customers for years just kind of come on board and put in and just say we 100% believe in the brand. And I can tell you, coming out of the challenges of COVID, just to have that kind of pat on the back was just, it's so empowering. And then to also have bigger investors saying, what is it you want to achieve? Let's have a conversation and let's get in now and help you on that journey. And not only can I contribute some cash, I can also, contribute by way of expertise or connections. So it's been very humbling, I have to say. And with it comes this big responsibility that I just want to get out there and smash it now for everyone who's invested to kind of go, all right, I want to realize our growth and just show all of you a return.
Yeah, even greater motivation. Yeah, it must be such an emotional roller coaster, right? Like you're bearing sort of your business soul, or even your soul, right, as you're putting it out there to the public, basically. But then, to have people come and lend their support and customers say, yeah, we believe in you. It must be, humbling but empowering and exciting and all those things all mixed up at once.
And then there's those who kind of are a bit skeptical, who have all sorts of questions, so they put you through the ringer. But it's really good preparation, I have to say, for what the future holds. So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And so you're live now, right? Well, no, so you're not live. You've only just about to finish your private invite for all those people that expressed their interest. And then you're going to go actually live for other people to jump on board, I think in the next couple of days. By the time this episode lands, I actually think you're going to be at your target, but we'll help you get there if you're not. So you're going super well. I've been watching with great interest over the last week as that private round's been going on. Where are you at? How are you tracking? How are you feeling?
Yeah, so as of 5 minutes ago, we're 65% funded. So, so it's so exciting. We have 135 investors. I've pretty much spoken to most of them. It's going well. It's going really well.
So you're looking to raise $500,000. Is that the number?
From between $500,000 to $2 million.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay. So you can go well over your base amount. Well, hey, I tell you what, if you're at that 2 million cap by the time this lands, I want to get ahead of myself and say well done, and you may well be close to that because you've got a great momentum.
Momentum, but hopefully, people from here also, if you're interested.
Great. Well, check it out on it's Birchal. In fact, I'd like to talk about Birchal because it's actually a platform I know, and I know a couple of companies that have gone through it. Everything I hear about the guys and what they do is really good, but we'll get onto that in a second. So expression of interest first, and then the last week's been all those people that had expressed their interest. They get basically private release. You mentioned something about extra incentives for them. Can you dig into those? That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, so there's so they also invest now but pay later. So they at the end of the campaign, so there's delayed payment options, but also a series of rewards. So everything from minimal investment, they get whole kids products delivered, but also there's certain kind of brackets. The higher you invest, we're also offering rewards that are we do focus groups with kids and parents, and that's kind of one of the really fun things we do where kids get to try our products, and before we launch them to market we have to get kind of the tick of approval from them. And so the families get to come and be part of our product development and our tasting table, and so we've got a whole series of rewards we're offering.
They're very harsh customers, kids. It must be hard getting a new product past them.
And sometimes it's just feedback you don't want to hear, but we know 100% when we launch a product, we're launching it to their taste, because their taste preferences are quite different. So
yeah, they must be. Well, I must taste things like a kid then. Okay, so we're almost at the end of that first week, and then it gets kind of the proper public offering or out to the broader public I think you said it was tonight. What have you got geared up for that?
Well, we just put it out there again on social media, letting people know we've gone live, they can get on and invest. So we've got, I think there's 14, 15 days left of the campaign as of today. So we're looking to build as much momentum as we can.
Yeah, how exciting. I suppose this is, it's an exciting journey for you because there's so many different stages throughout it, right? There's that like, how are people going to respond when we do the expression of interest? And then it must be like, out of those that said they were interested, who's going to come on board? And now you've got like, and now when we go to the public, what are they going to say? So that's, that must be such a roller coaster that you're obviously enjoying right now. Hi everyone, I just wanted to jump in here to let you know if you're enjoying this episode, it doesn't need to stop here. We've taken this episode plus all the other episodes and also video footage from the interviews and made it available for free. There's also a bunch of fantastic guides, tools and resources you can use to grow your business. To grab those tools, just go to www.the-entourage.com/podcast. Right, let's get back into the show. It's basically like running a product launch, yeah? You're doing paid advertising out to your community and the group. What other things are you doing to really push this along?
So advertising, we're doing EDMs as well. We're sending out updates to our customers, to anyone who's expressed an interest, just talking to as many people as we can to get awareness out there. That's the big thing.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've always enjoyed about crowdfunding campaigns of all types, so actually we did a crowdfunding campaign years ago at the Entourage here for an entrepreneur's journal that we developed. Like it packages the whole thing into something that's interesting, it's time bound, it gives you another excuse to talk to people. There's that ticking timer at the end that like this thing's only running for another 14 days. And so I think crowdfunding of all types, equity or product or rewards based, like it just creates that sense of excitement for a short period of time and gives you a great reason to talk to your customers and everyone else as well. So that's obviously working out well for you guys. Let's have a quick chat about Birchal. So that's the platform that you're using. So it's that's how you structure the offer, and I imagine they kind of take you through a lot of the preparation. How's that gone? How did you start speaking to them? What's the journey been like?
We really didn't understand it or know what to expect. So we had a lot of chats with them about how it worked. They gave us a lot of examples of businesses. I think they weren't sure either because we were one of the more established businesses, but they sent us it was a little overwhelming. It was this whole comms plan that we had to kind of get prepared for. But at the same time, they were kind of there holding our hand the whole way and just reassuring us. And because you never really know how it's going to work. And you're right, it's a roller coaster and you just don't know how you're tracking compared to some of their other campaigns. But our expressions of interest within the first couple of days, they said this would be one of the higher responses we've ever had. So that was good to know.
Great.
And then also just feeding through kind of news. So they have their own network of wholesale investors they have a database of that they sort of let know about new opportunities that are coming through. And also we talk closely with them about any developments. So whilst this has been running, we've launched some new products, we've entered new markets, the business is still carrying on and growing. So working closely with them and their communications team to feed that out as well is really important.
Yeah, we'll keep everyone interested. And you're right. You would be one of the more advanced or established businesses going through a process like this. Oftentimes we think of capital raising for like early stage business, startup businesses, which it's definitely not only for, right? Like every time you want to go through a big growth spurt, like capital can really fuel that growth. And that is applicable for more established businesses as well. But you've got a business to run as well as this. If I'm a startup business, I just got to worry about the capital raise and then we start. But you're obviously spinning a couple of plates right now. You mentioned that you just launched a new range. What have you done there?
So we have, we've really upped it a notch. We have the first plant-based range that is using single ingredients. Like we've said we want to be the cleanest product on the market, and for kids, products don't have to be overloaded with flavors and colorings and things. So we're using between 1 and up to 5 ingredients, and that's it. And we've rebranded our packaging. So I can show you one of the new products. There's some little mini bites here, and they are taking on sultanas, which are about 70 grams of sugar per 100 grams. These are some little bites that have oats and raisins and banana, and their sugar content is about 25% versus so it's 50% less sugar. And only five ingredients. Yeah. And then we have one that's just one ingredient. It's as close as the real thing you would get. So we're pretty excited about, and we're bringing our little, these are all our customers' kids that are on pack. So our little army of Whole Kids activists, coming to the fore. So it's kind of, we're really excited about the rebrand. The new range is in Woolworths end of October. So
nice, well done. Actually, at the risk of going on a bit of a detour, I would love to hear your just thoughts in general about food, the quality of food that we're eating, not just kids, but adults as well. And what's your take on the direction we're heading in? Is it enough being done, not enough being done? Love to get your thoughts.
I think in terms of health and sustainability, definitely not enough being done. I think we did some customer research towards the end of last year with about 2,500 families, and the overwhelming response was just that health is not healthy. It's being marketed as healthy. There's a lot of confusion around labeling. Big food companies are just misleading parents. So our view is that, with climate, with everything else that's going on, we need to take it quite seriously and move closer to plant-based diets and really start getting rid of all the additives and the rubbish in kids' food.
So what would you say, if I'm going through the supermarket and I'm trying to pick the right stuff, what are the top couple of things that I should be looking for to making better choices around what I'm buying?
I think start with the produce aisle and then work inwards, but also when you're looking at grocery products, just really look, if there's anything you don't understand on the label, then just don't go for it. We use as close to ingredients. We actually do every single ingredient you use, you would find in your pantry. So there's no need for overloading product with stabilizers and preservatives and all sorts of stuff to cheapen it. So I'd just be keeping that in mind, just clean ingredients lists.
I kind of, as I think about it, I feel like 2019 and early 2020 was plant-based was getting real momentum. There was a lot of focus on it. There's some great documentaries came out about it. I actually know a couple of businesses that launched plant-based foods from packaged to restaurant, and then COVID hit. And I don't know whether that took us in the right direction or the wrong direction. You certainly see a lot of people complaining about how bad their diets have gotten during COVID. I wonder what you think. Have we taken a step back, or actually is people spending a little bit more, paying a bit more attention to what they're eating through these challenging times?
I think people are. I think people have become very focused on their health and, future and sustainability. We noticed an uplift, for us, direct-to-consumer channel, e-commerce, wasn't a big percentage of our business, but as soon as COVID hit, we just thought, well, how can we support kids and families in the home? And so we started selling these bundles of nutritional products just to support parents, and found that our sales grew phenomenally. And we did this great collaboration with a company that was set up to provide kind of holiday programs in the workforce, but they quickly had to turn to how they could support education. So with them, we kind of collaborated so that we were providing good education and good nutrition in the home. And I think it's a bit of a focus. I think with COVID still lurking, I know people in the home, there's been a lot of wine drinking and just, haven't been exercising as much and whatever. But, at the same time, I think people want to be more healthy, but they need convenience and easy options.
Yeah, you might have been talking about me there. Got to balance things out, right? Hey, let's get back onto your guys' future plans. And, you got this great campaign going. It looks like you're doing really, really well. What are the growth plans from here? As you take on this new investment, what are you going to be doing with it?
Yeah, we still feel like there's a massive opportunity domestically for us to pretty much triple our business. And the beginning of the year, I brought in the ex-head of operations for Swiss, and just in March, their CFO, and I've got the ex-product development person from Bellamy's who's working with us as well. So we are going to focus on using the investment for new product innovation, but also growing into new markets, growing in some of our existing retailers as well. We have a lot of inbound interest coming from export markets who are looking for clean Australian products. So wanting to get on board and just leverage some of that as well.
Yeah, I think the Australian produce must have really gone up in everyone's estimations. Like it has been very high for a long time, but particularly now. But at the same time, also, you know, a lot of I like that you're saying you can triple in just within Australia, because for a lot of people, you know, the next period is about like how do you just do really well in your domestic market. So you've got the dual strategy there. What about the business itself? Like how is it changing? As in like structurally, size wise, how is it changing right now, and how do you see it changing after the capital raise?
So we're still a pretty small team. There's probably two key hires we need to make, and one's on the sales and the export side, and the other's on the marketing side. So we don't see it changing too much. I have to say, bringing in some people with more senior experience has really kind of unleashed the brand and the business and freed up my time. So it's been quite incredibly operationally to have someone who's quite senior with so much experience, but also who's really kind of values driven and behind, just wants to be part of a great business that's creating change. That's a really big theme that I've seen coming through COVID too, where I think people are really reevaluating, you know, where they want to be, their purpose, what they want to do with their lives. So whether that's forced or whether it's, you know, on reflection.
Yeah, and gravitating towards a business like yours, it's trying to make real lasting change, is going to be very appealing for a lot of people. And maybe they decide to get out of the rat race and into making a positive impact. Okay, excellent. Last question around the campaign, and then I've got a couple more questions to kind of wrap us up that I haven't seen and you haven't seen, so they're always fun to get into. You mentioned that you've been getting some like serious investors that can also not just bring money, but also bring connections and other capabilities. What are some of the things or some of the potential there that you're seeing?
So there's huge potential within FMCG, so consumer brands, and I guess as a purpose-based business, that's something that we're always fighting with the big guys, but having that expertise on our side helps us position the brand. So that's really critical too, just having some experience, some sounding board through that. You know, as a private business, I have a loose kind of advisory board. There's nothing formal there, but there's some people coming in that really now have the opportunity structurally to set the business up so that, you know, we've laid the foundation and now we're ready to just get going.
Fantastic. So it sounds like it's all heading in the right direction. Okay, now you ready for these questions that we make it happen in a minute-ish, right? I've got 5 questions here that we can run through. First thing off the top of your head, some of them are fun, and then some wise words of advice, I'm sure, from you. So question number 1, what's a common piece of business advice that you disagree with?
I think you've got to be really careful when people say, just get out there, just go for it. I think you need to do it in a way that's researched and well thought through.
Yep, I think I agree with you, right? We certainly, there are times where just figure it out, move fast, break things is right. But there are other times when it's not. Question number 2 is, what accomplishments are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of, we delivered 500,000 breakfasts to school children in Cambodia. We have a partnership with Plan International, and I took my daughter and 6 other little 9-year-old girls there to see the work and to just open their eyes and show them that they can really make a difference in the world. It was the most incredible thing.
That's amazing. Well done. Congratulations on that. Question number 3, who's the biggest influence on your career and business to date?
My dad. What do I say? Like, you know, he's everything.
Not just because of the campaign, for other reasons as well? Has he been there all the way along?
He's really entrepreneurial, and from the age of about 9, he took me to these kind of mind shop strategic business workshops and has always encouraged me to just follow my heart, follow my dreams, and just get out there and make a difference and persist.
That's great. Was he an entrepreneur himself or just entrepreneurial?
He was an entrepreneur, yeah.
Yeah, great. So it's in your blood. Yeah, you had no other way to go. All right, question number 4. What's the best way to find and pursue purpose in life?
Oh, I think it really comes back to what you're passionate about and where you want to make a difference. So it takes a lot of reflection. I kind of fell into it from a trip I took to Indonesia where I worked on an aid program with kids. I started thinking a bit bigger about how I could create change in the world. And I think when you have that, when you come into really challenging times in business, it just keeps you going.
Yeah, absolutely. I say that all the time. It's like the entrepreneurial journey of building a business. creating anything out of scratch, right? It's a road of highs and lows, and you need something that keeps you motivated all the time, that kind of North Star that really inspires you when, things aren't going quite as planned, which they never do. All right, question number 5 is, if someone wants to make real change in the world, what's the one thing they need to do to make that happen?
I think just start. I met I met Blake Mycoskie from Tom's Shoes in the US. And I don't know if you know his story. I know we've got a big...
I do.
Yeah, so anyway, he said, he's given away however many million shoes to enable kids to go to school. But he said it didn't have to ever be millions of shoes. It could have been 5 pairs of shoes from the first production run in my apartment. Even those 5 pairs are making a difference. So it doesn't matter how little it is, just start, just do something. Yeah, great. Yeah, you're not going to change the world without changing sort of 1 or 2 or 10 peoples or situations, and then you can go from there. That's great advice. All right, so maybe last question from me, Monica. In 14 days' time, when you have had this brilliantly successful campaign, you've hit that $2 million funding goal on virtual, what's the first thing you're going to do to celebrate? I'm going to crack open a champagne, I reckon, and try and get my team together. I am hoping lockdown is over so we can all... I have a staff member who moved to Chicago, and she gave me this bottle of champagne, and this was 2 years ago now, and she said, I'm giving this to you for your big moment because I know it's around the corner, and it's sitting at home, and I've just been waiting for that big moment. So
great. Well, that will be very, very well deserved. We'll be here cheering you on. We'll be continue to watch the campaign as it unfolds. So yeah, Monica, I want to say thank you very much for coming on the show today. Great story, great journey with Whole Kids. You're running a great campaign, and I just want to wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much, Tim. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Make It Happen show. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. And it doesn't need to end there. We've actually gone and grabbed a whole bunch of extra resources for you. Behind the scenes footage, videos from this and all the other episodes, as well as show notes that you can grab for free. Just head along to www.the-entourage.com/podcast and you can grab all those extra resources. Thanks for tuning in, and I cannot wait to introduce you to our next guest on the next episode.